Hello! This week the box office is on fire with a lovely action flick and the OTT is astounding us with beautiful, intricate stories. I'm Atika Farooqui getting you the best of both worlds. This is now showing. Here are the highlights to what comes up in the next half hour. Fighter is high on drama, outstanding action, palpable chemistry between Hrithik and Deepika and authentic portrayal of Indian Air Force. A tete-a-tete with two luminaries of Indian cinema, Javed Akhtar and Gulzar Sahab, on life, films, poetry and each other's work. In the mind of an actor, this week is multiple award winner Konkona Sen, a name synonymous with good cinema. And Siddharth Anand, the director of Fighter, on watching his father direct Amitabh Bachchan starred Shahenshah and why he stopped making romantic films. Let's begin with Fighter. In 1986, a film about a pilot who is given a second chance to redeem himself took the world by storm. Tom Cruise's Top Gun set the benchmark for what an aerial action film involving planes should look like. Many tried to duplicate the formula, but nothing came close to the original. Until 2022, when Cruise made a comeback in a refurbished version of the franchise. Siddharth Anand's Fighter takes several cues from Top Gun to lay the foundation for what becomes a pacey story about valor, patriotism and celebrating the birds in the sky that protect our country. The story unfolds with a gripping message from a terrorist group, setting the stage for a looming suicide attack. A year prior, the best of the Indian Air Force, led by the confident and rebellious Hrithik Roshan as squadron leader Shamsher Pathania, aka Patty, assembles under the command of the seasoned Rocky, played by Anil Kapoor. Their mission? Foil the terrorists' plans to attack the Srinagar base camp. As the elite squadron Air Dragons forms, the narrative here explores themes of love, betrayal and the forging of unbreakable bonds among its members, building anticipation towards a heart-pounding climax. Director Siddharth Anand, known for his prowess in action entertainers, delivers slick sequences and intense cockpit drama. Cinematographers Sachin Palos and Ayanka Bose deserve accolades for bringing gravitas to the film, whether soaring over mountains, valleys or air bases. Despite the film's technical brilliance though, the predictable narrative and reliance on cliches around Pakistan diminish its overall appeal. The age-old trope of a menacing Pakistani militant aiming to destroy India, the old Janab and Mia dialogues, feel worn out in a film that otherwise is a coming-of-age film. However, the writing by Siddharth Anand, Hussain Dalal and Raman Chib, who's the son of an Air Force officer and himself served in the Indian Army, lends credibility to the scenes and much-needed factual depiction in a film with defense background. I'm relieved and so happy to see one film that authentically depicts the army culture. The performances, however, are a highlight here. Hrithik Roshan and Deepika Padukone showcase their peak acting prowess, displaying a smouldering on-screen chemistry and excelling in emotional scenes. Anil Kapoor, a dependable force, embodies the nuances of a commander and patriot very convincingly. Akshay Oberoi also hold their own among these seasoned actors. While Rishabh Sahni's portrayal of the antagonist lacks the required dread, the overall ensemble cast delivers commendable performances. Technically, Fighter stands out with exceptional cinematography and brisk editing by Arif Sheikh here. Siddharth Anand's directorial finesse shines through, offering a visually appealing and entertaining film that effortlessly embraces the suspension of disbelief. However, the film falters in its second half, grappling with sluggish pacing and overused dialogues. The repetitive theme of proving oneself to the nation becomes tiresome, and some moments may feel overly familiar to seasoned action movie enthusiasts. Despite these shortcomings, Fighter remains sleek and clever, engaging viewers with captivating aerial combat scenes from inverted Sukhoi 30 shots to thrilling dogfights between Indian and Pakistani fighter jets. The background score by Sanchit Balhara and Ankit Balhara and the songs by Vishal Shekhar blend in so well with the theme. As India celebrates Republic Day, fighter taps into the patriotic fervor with a screenplay that encompasses every commercial movie aspect. Action, drama, music, romance and emotions blend seamlessly, creating an engaging cinematic experience. While the film doesn't break new grounds in terms of plot, its top-notch aerial stunts and tactical scenarios elevate it to an adrenaline-pumping action spectacle. Fighter may not reinvent the wheel, but for action enthusiasts, its killer aerial combat sequences will undoubtedly leave a lasting impression. Just a couple of days ago, it was birthday of Javed Akhtar Saab, one of the most celebrated writers and thinkers of Indian cinema. When I wished him on his birthday, I said, Javed Saab, आपको मेरी उम्र लग जाए. He said, अरे किसी फिजूल आदमी की लगे, आपकी न लगे. बस यही हाजिर जवाबी makes him the man that he is. A mixture of quick thinking, wit and creativity. Now, mix it up with another contemporary, another man par excellence, Gulzar Sahab. When Javed Saab's book Jadunama was launched, I was a lucky soul to be in conversation with the both of them. Let me make your day today. Here is both the titans together on one stage conversing for you. Enjoy.
कुछ दिनों पहले गुलजार साहब और जावेद साहब मुझे याद है कि फ्लाइट में सफ़र कर रहे थे तो शबाना जी आपने एक फ़ोटो लेके डाला और कहा कि कैप्शन दिस. तो करण जौहर का एक बहुत प्यारा जुमला था. उन्होंने लिखा कि 116 चांद की रातें और एक ये तस्वीर. तो आज भी वही आलम है, एक ये तस्वीर.
बहरहाल मैं उससे मिलकर पूछूंगा तुमने चांद किसको कहा और रात किसको कहा. पता लगना चाहिए ठीक से.
नहीं, वैसे तो चांद का कॉपीराइट मेरा है कि इसलिए
ये एक बहुत पुरानी किताब है, एक बूंद चांद.
और वैसे कोई और इस्तेमाल करे तो उन्हें रॉयल्टी देनी चाहिए, पर मुझे कोई रॉयल्टी देता नहीं. लेकिन ये भी ज़रूर है कि मुझसे अक्सर ये पूछा गया कि ये 116 क्यों है. और सच ये है कि मुझे गिनती नहीं आती थी, कहीं भूल गया. तो 116 नहीं थी, वो 117 थी.
अच्छा
जी हाँ.
मतलब ऐसा कोई मतलब इस 117 की कोई
गिनती में 116 नहीं 117 होंगे, नहीं तो 119 होंगे.
मतलब जैसे कि एक साल में इतनी चांद रातें होती हैं. ये मतलब
बहुत खूबसूरत. कई लोग आपको प्रोफेशनल राइवल समझते रहे कई सालों तक कि भाई ये तो दोनों एक ही तरह के दो लिखने वाले हैं, इनकी तो आपस में दोस्ती नहीं होगी.
नहीं देखिए, एक तो ये तो कोई सवाल ही नहीं इसमें. मतलब मुझे कभी एक सेकंड को नहीं लगा कि हमारी रिलेशनशिप में इस तरह की कोई तनाव या तलखी या कोई एक मुकाबले का मिजाज है ही नहीं और है ही नहीं. और दूसरी सच बात यह है कि हमारा लिखने का अंदाज भी बहुत अलग है, बहुत अलग. एक ही बात कॉमन है कि दोनों अच्छा लिखते हैं. बाकी जो है माफ़ कीजिएगा कितना मैं इंसार करूँ, अब झूठ तो नहीं बोलने लगूँगा ना ह्यूमिलिटी में. तो ये बिल्कुल अलग और कोई सवाल ही नहीं, उसमें कोई गुंजाइश ही नहीं है. बल्कि आप ये देखिए, हमेशा जो वाकई जैसे फैज़ और मजाज बेहतरीन दोस्त थे, बेहतरीन दोस्त थे. या आप ये देखिए कैफ़ी साहब और सलाल जाफरी, मतलब सगे भाइयों जैसा रिश्ता था उनका. तो ये कोई ज़रूरी नहीं कि अगर आप एक वोकेशन में हैं, एक काम में हैं, तो आप दूसरे से जलने लगें. हसद सिर्फ उस आदमी में आ सकता है, जेलेसी सिर्फ उस आदमी में आ सकती है जिसमें कहीं कुछ खुद एतमादी की, सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस की कमी है. वरना तो अच्छा काम देखे हो तारीफ करेगा. मैं तो कितनी बार हुआ गुलजार साहब से पूछिए कि मैं एक गाना सुन रहा हूँ जो इन्होंने आज से 20 साल पहले लिखा था, कहीं मुझसे मिस हो गया और उसका एक अंतरा मैं सुन, तब मुझे समझ ये किसका गाना है. ये तो गुलजार साहब का है. मैंने इन्हें फ़ोन किया कि गुलजार साहब ये गाना आपने कब लिखा था. ये नहीं पूछा कि आपका गाना है कि नहीं. और ये तो कमाल का अंतरा है. ये सही कह रहा हूँ गुलजार साहब.
जी जी.
तो ये तो आप अगर एक अच्छी चीज़ को अच्छी चीज़ नहीं समझ सकते, अच्छे काम को अच्छा काम नहीं समझ सकते, तो ये आपकी बदनसीबी. उसे क्या फ़र्क पड़ने वाला.
बल्कि ये अर्ज करूं कि मुझसे जो अक्सर कहा जाता है, मेरे रेफरेंस में कहा जाता है कि आप अच्छा वाला लिखते थे, मोरा गोरा अंग ले ले मोहे शाम रंग दे दे, अब ये अरे बीड़ी जलाए ले जिगर से पिया कहाँ से आ गया भाई, ये आप क्यों करने लगे। और मुझे जावेद साहब ने दाद दी थी, और यकीन मानिए कि बहुत से जो ऑडियंस में बैठे हुए पूछते हैं, और जब मैं उन्हें कहता देखे ये तो जावेद साहब को भी बहुत पसंद आया था, तो फिर खामोश हो गया। आपने तो लिख दिया एक लड़की से मिला, एक लड़की को देखा तो ऐसा लगा। अब वो हर अंतरे में मुझे लगता है ये दूसरी लड़की है, ये वो पहली वाली नहीं। जितनी बार वो अपनी तस्वीर बदलते हैं ये तो कोई और लड़की है, तो हर बार लगता है। और वो आपने कि जिंदगी धूप तुम घना साया, तब तक तो ठीक लग रहा था मुझे लग रहा था कहीं वाकई सही बड़े सीरियस हैं आपसी घर की बात कर रहे हैं, ठीक कर रहे हैं, या अब घर की है या बाहर की है वो तो आप बेहतर जानते हैं। लेकिन जब एक लड़की को देखा तो ये महसूस हुआ मुझे कि आप बहरहाल अब सारी बातें क्यों कही जाए। और लेकिन मैं ये ज़रूर बताना चाहता था कि ये कैसे हुआ, या पहला हिस्सा आप बता देंगे या दूसरा हिस्सा आप बता दीजिएगा। एक लड़की को मैं भी मिला था एक लड़की को मैं भी मिला था, बड़ा अच्छा लगा मिलकर, मेरी मद्दाह थी, एक फैन थी मेरी, वो मेरी शायरी की खूबियां पहचानती थी, मेरे मिसरे मेरी तशबीहें उसके दिल को छूती थीं, मेरे मिसरे मेरी तशबीहें उसके दिल को छूती थी, मुझे मिलकर अचानक बौखलाने लग गई थी, बड़ी नर्वस हंसी हंसकर कहा मुझे डर है मैं अपना नाम ही ना भूल जाऊं। बड़ी नर्वस हंसी हंसकर कहा मुझे डर है मैं अपना नाम ही न भूल जाऊं। बगलगीर हो के मोबाइल पे सेल्फी भी ले ली, गई तो नाम लेकर शुक्रिया कहकर गई, वो मेरा नाम ना था। गई तो नाम लेकर गई, वो मेरा नाम ना था। हमेशा से यही डर था कि वो कमबख्त मुझसे अच्छा लिखता है।
मेरे साथ भी एक किस्सा हुआ, और जैसे ये गवाह हैं कि इन्होंने हर जगह सुनाया था, मेरे सामने शबाना गवाह बैठी। मैं एयरपोर्ट पे, मैं और शबाना कहीं से आए, उस ज़माने में जेट एयरवेज चल रही थी ठीक से, तो जेट एयरवेज की लड़कियों ने कहा कि आप दोनों बैठिए, हम आपका सामान ले आते हैं। तो हम दोनों एक बेंच पे बैठ गए। अब मेरे बराबर बैठी शबाना, उन्होंने शबाना को नोट किए के साथ तशरीफ़ लाया यहाँ 2 फीट पे। मुझे देखा, आदाब गुलजार साहब। तो मैंने कहा जी आदाब। गुलजार साहब एयरपोर्ट पे कैसे? मैंने कहा वो जावेद अख्तर साहब आ रहे हैं, मैं उन्हें रिसीव करने आया। तो वो जरा कंफ्यूज हुआ कि इतना बड़ा आदमी जावेद अख्तर को रिसीव कर लिया। तो कि आप जावेद अख्तर को रिसीव करने आए? मैं हमेशा आता हूँ, जावेद अख्तर साहब कहीं से भी आए, मैं एयरपोर्ट पर रिसीव। तो उसके चेहरे पे जो डिसअपॉइंटमेंट था, वो फैन गुलजार का और ये जावेद अख्तर को ले लिया। अच्छा चलता हूँ गुलजार साहब।
And moving on, Konkana Sensharma, the winner of 2 national awards and 3 Filmfare Awards, a face we equate with authentic performances, and is also the daughter of Konkona Sen, who continues to write and direct strong characters as a writer-director. Konkana and Manoj Bajpayee's series Killer Soup is being appreciated on Netflix for its wacky characterization and out-of-the-box approach towards direction by Abhishek Chaubey. In our special segment, In the Mind of an Actor, we try and get into the skin of a performer and explore how he or she brings to you those characters and portrayals. So this time we have Konkana talking about her acting process.
Have I learnt acting? No, actually I have not formally ever learnt acting. I really didn't get a chance because, you know, when I was younger and starting off, I didn't think that I'd want to be an actor. I didn't think that that is something that I could pursue in any really meaningful way and earn money. And I was really doing it as a lark, my first few films. I thought I'll just try it out and then maybe I'll, you know, switch to something else. And then luckily, I was lucky because it kind of took off and I didn't really have to find anything else to do. And I didn't end up learning any acting either. So there are some projects that I'm more proud of than others, though I'm proud of them all. Of course, the films that I've done with my mother are unique and special for me for many reasons. And out of those, Mr. and Mrs. Iyer is definitely up there, and so is 15 Park Avenue. 15 Park Avenue is a film where I had played a character who is suffering from schizophrenia, and there is someone in my family who I had known with the same mental health issue. So this was a role that was very close to me. There's also a film called Doshor that is directed by Rituparno Ghosh that was very, very dear to me as well. There are several films like this. There's also Amu, which is a film on the 1984 riots. That was extremely special for me. I feel it's an important film. There are, of course, films like Wake Up Sid and Omkara and Life in a Metro, which have got me a lot of love from people, Page 3. So these films are very close to me as well. I'm sure there are others, but I can't recall offhand. And of course, Death in the Ganj and Last Stories, because those are films I directed. One of them was Dead Poets Society. And one of the reasons for that was that it really emphasized the point of non-conformity and that we don't have to blindly belong. You know, we don't have to be the same as everybody else, and it's okay to be different. It's okay to think differently from other people. I mean, as long as you're not harming yourself or others. And that we are all free thinkers inside, you know. So that was a seminal film. There were also films by Bergman and Truffaut which really shaped me. Films like Day for Night, films like 400 Blows, Joulégime. These are Truffaut films that I've loved. I've also loved some Bergman films like Fanny and Alexander and Cries and Whispers, Smiles of a Summer Night. And there have been others which I'm trying to remember. You know, my mum's films as well, Poroma and 36 Chowringhee Lane, have deeply affected me. Charu Lata, Ray's Pather Pachali, the trilogy, Opu trilogy as well. The first shot I ever did was probably when I was 3 or 4 years old. So I don't really remember. I remember that I was with my mother and it was an unexpected thing, so I was quite thrilled. The most difficult scene of my career, I would say there are a few that I can remember. Most recently I can remember from Killer Soup because I had to fall from a great height even though I was harnessed. But still, you know, I was very high up. I could see all the crew and, you know, Film City ka lights far away, so that was very nerve-wracking. I also had to do some underwater shots for Killer Soup as well as for Mumbai Diaries. Those were very scary because I don't swim. I am a little nervous of being in the water, forget underwater. There's also, I remember in Omkara a scene where I'm actually handling cow dung because I'm playing a rustic village woman, and while she's talking very casually, she's throwing this cow dung on the walls. It was just awful because the smell was so overpowering and the cow dung had maggots in it and I had to handle it. And I remember that smell and I felt it was not coming off my hands for days. And I don't think anybody was very sympathetic. They were like, ha, it's okay, it's okay. Even my mom, I called my mom to complain in Calcutta and she was not very sympathetic either. You know, there's no one reason that I would say yes to a script. There are myriad reasons. I think that to begin with, it's like some kind of an instinctive gut response to the script itself. You know, if the script has been easy to read or if I've, you know, engaged or felt connected in some way related to the script while reading it, that's a great sign always. I like to see the character I'm playing, if the character I'm playing is going through some kind of a transition or how she has been portrayed. That's important. The director of the film or show is also very important because unless you have a rapport with the director and you can get along with them, you know, otherwise you can't really, you need to communicate effectively. How do I prepare for a role? There is no one way as such. Also because, you know, I've acted in over 50 films, and one has to adapt to the style of the director you're working with. So different directors are different. There are some projects where the directors do a lot of detailed preparation. You know, there'll be detailed look tests and workshops and rehearsals and discussions and things like that. And there are other films where, you know, there may be very little. Maybe there's a meeting or a discussion, maybe there's one look test and there's not much else, so you are relying on yourself. Usually what I do is I try to read the script many times. I try to go through all the questions with my director that I may have. I also try to write down the one-liner of each scene. So I have the one-liner of the whole film. I feel that really helps me to get into the story. So I never have to worry about where I am in the film when I'm shooting, because when we're shooting, you know, the beginning of the film, the middle of the film, we're not shooting in a linear fashion. So it's very disjointed. So that's one thing that I do on my own. Sometimes if there's a dialect I have to pick up, there's usually a dialect coach with whom I work. I also sometimes, if the dialogues are very unfamiliar to me in the sense that it's done in an accent or a dialect that I'm not familiar with, then I may ask for recorded lines so I can keep hearing it, you know, even when I'm doing other things, and get used to that. What nourishes the actor inside me? What a lovely question. I wish I had paid more attention to this. Again, I think that this is something, you know, nourishing the actor is the same really as nourishing the human being in yourself and nourishing human beings around you. I think that directly has an impact on your own acting career, as well as your powers of self-observation, self-awareness, and how deeply you can learn, interact and engage with life itself, with your own self and with others around you. I think it's also nice to have a rich inner world, to be able to have a very fertile, vivid imagination, because a lot of the time you're creating make-believe worlds, and even though there are others who are helping you along your journey, like your director, like your co-actors, like your production designer, your cameraman, your costumes, etc. But even then, I think it is really an exercise in willpower and imagination as well, and focus and memory and attention. So these things are nurtured, I think, by reading, by being sensitive to your own self and to other people, and keeping that sensitivity alive, and being keenly aware of human interaction and dynamics in groups and people.
And now we are slipping into a short break. After the break, we meet up with the director of Fighter. He's been a director for the last 20 years or so, and you would be happy to know that Shahenshah, starring Amitabh Bachchan, was directed by his father, and his grandfather worked very closely with Rajkumar on several of his blockbusters. And now here is the son making action flicks. It would be interesting to talk to him about his pedigree and the movies that he likes and makes. After the break. Welcome back to Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. Siddharth Anand, whose film Fighter releases this week at the box office, has been known for films like Bang Bang, War, Pathaan, Tara Rampam, Hum Tum. Little did we know, his father directed Amitabh Bachchan starrer Shahenshah, and his grandfather Inder Raj Anand wrote for Raj Kapoor's films like Aag, Anari and several others. Here is this special segment where the spotlight is completely on the director, and I met up with him to know his directorial process in the last 20 years.
Marflix actually is a production house that Mamta and me have formed. Mamta and me started out our journey as assistant directors in Yash Raj, and she supported my vision and my passion to become a director first, and allowed me to flourish and became a director. And then obviously now is my turn to actually give it back and make a production house under her name. So it's Mamta and my son Ranveer. So that's how Marflix came together. So I'm actually a third generation industry kid, I would say. So my grandfather was a prolific writer. He's written over 125 films, from Safar, Sangam, Ek Duje Ke Liye, Mard, Shahenshah, Kalia. I mean, a plethora of films. Worked extensively with Mr. Raj Kapoor also. And yeah, so he was writing films till his passing away. My father was a film producer. He produced a couple of films and then made Shahenshah, and thereon went on to do a family business I don't know which person actually leaves the industry and does a business, but my father was very different, I guess. I was roughly 8, 9 or 10 years old around then when Shahenshah was being made. And I was just fascinated by the scale of it at that point in time, whether it was, there was a set in a studio called Seth Studios in Andheri, which was Amrish Puri's house. It was fascinating. He had a living room which was a 30-foot ceiling with a waterfall inside and a slide and a pool. So it was just fascinating, that kind of cinema. And I just wonder people have houses like that. Yeah, so that's my memory. And shooting in Ooty for that song Jaane Do with Mr. Bachchan and Meenakshi ma'am on the bike, going through that thing and breaking that fence and stuff. So it was fun. I've been fascinated by the Indian Air Force, by the pilots, by their lifestyle, by what they do, how they wear their attitude on their sleeve, and get onto those mean machines and fight with life and death every day. I mean, it's just fascinating in that. But what I always missed was the story. कि कहानी क्या बोलनी है इसमें? ये तो ठीक है, फाइटर जेट ठीक है, कहानी क्या है? And I think the struggle was to find that, and it organically came through. And I was always clear that Fighter should be a desi film. When you make a film on the Air Force, it should not disconnect the larger mass of India. Eventually, we found a very desi story and told it in a very basic way, but the flamboyance of the Air Force. Kahani is based on a true story. It's based on a real incident which shocked us, which angered us, and it led to what it did. And we've tried to depict it in the most honest way that we could, and yet make it into a commercial picture. I think in 2010 I made Anjana Anjani, and somewhere around then I didn't know what to make next. I feel I had exhausted the rom-com genre. I think I had run out of conflicts that I could tell in that story, in that space. And organically I got offered the remake of Night and Day. I didn't bat an eyelid. I just took it to like a fish takes to water, and it was like second nature to me. And we made Bang Bang, which I felt had some great action. Even when I look back at it today, the trailer, the teaser, it's got some incredible moments and was executed pretty decently for that. It was made 10 years ago. And try to elevate that and hone that craft going forward with each film. And today Fighter is something that I'm extremely proud of. We've shot with real Sukhois, real air bases, real choppers, real stunts, and yet taking the help of CGI somewhere to accentuate things. The trick is you can't say what is what. You've seen the teaser, you've seen the trailer. You will never know where the real Sukhoi and the CGI Sukhoi ended or started. You will not know it. That is the trick. And that is something, that is a tool that you need for making tentpole films. I mean, we've grown up in Hollywood because they had access to great CGI. I remember growing up watching King Kong, that's CGI, but you connected with it, you emoted with it, you cried with it. So today people make a big hoo-ha about VFX. You're supposed to use technology. So when you say VFX kiya, obviously we're not saying hum documentary nahi bana rahe, hum film bana rahe. You have to use great, the fact that you have access to great VFX, that is your trump card, and that is a better part of filmmaking. Hrithik and me have evolved beyond being an actor director. Got to know each other, I think, since 2012 when I approached him for Bang Bang. And thereafter, obviously now it's been 12 years that we know each other. And there's a certain bond and there's a certain understanding and, more importantly, trust in each other as collaborators, that we know that our primary focus is the film. He's been gracious enough, greatly gracious enough to actually launch my production house, Marflix. I couldn't have asked for anybody else to launch Marflix than Hrithik, because him coming into my life just changed a lot of things for me. And I mean, I'm just blessed and I'm just lucky that it was him that has launched Marflix.
And we come to the end of this episode. Here's wishing you a very happy Republic Day. Please remember, Azadi बहुत कीमती है, इसे संभाल के रखना है. I say goodbye to you with a few last lines of a poem on Azadi that I had written a couple of years ago, and the last lines are, आओ उसे सलाम करें जिसने अपनी लाश बिछाई, खुद की बलि चढ़ा के जिसने आज़ादी की आस जगाई. हम भी फ़क्र से कहते हैं, हमसे दुनिया हारी है, हम भी फक्र से कहते हैं, हमसे दुनिया हारी है। वो सदी तुम्हारी थी, ये सदी हमारी है। Long live India, the idea of India and Indians. Happy Republic Day. Enjoy the weekend.